Yo guys, welcome to the On the Rise podcast, where each week I sit down with a talented rising artist to give you a sneak peek into their life, as well as have them share their inspirations and tips to anyone looking to take their craft to the next level, or simply to get connected to dance music culture. I'm your host Gustav, and you're listening to On the Rise. Yo guys, welcome back to another episode of On the Rise with me, your host Gustav. And in today's episode, we have Tom Wilson, who is a talented rising artist from the UK. He's had releases on Olosai Records, Future House Cloud, and he's collaborated with artists like John Realize and Foxa. So Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. What's up?
Dude, awesome to have you on here. I've been listening to your music for quite a bit of years now, and I've seen your rise from the producing groups and all these communities, and let me tell you, your music has just increased exponentially in just the quality and the creativity and all those sorts of things. So how did this all start? Just take me back to the very beginning of Tom Wilson, I guess.
Yeah, well, thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate it. But so kind of it all started a few years ago. I got a MacBook and I discovered GarageBand on it, as you do. Mm-hmm. And then I started to use that, and I started to try and make my own tracks and stuff on that. And then from there, I kind of got Logic Pro, mm-hmm. and I messed around with it a little bit, but I wasn't too good on it. So then kind of from there, what happened was I heard Oliver Heldens' music. I heard Gecko, mm-hmm. and that was my mm-hmm. favorite song I ever heard. And then Oliver Heldens introduced me to Kirby and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw Kirby was using this program called FL Studio, and I was like, oh, I really want to try this out. Because I was just no good at Logic, and I had no idea what I was doing and stuff. So it all kind of started for me when I kind of started using the DAW. So before I really learned loads about music itself, I learned more about how to use the DAW. Mm-hmm. So first, I bought a desktop and then installed FL Studio on it. And from there, it just sort of grew and expanded, and I kind of started off making more future housey stuff, and I think I've just evolved my style since. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of role did music play in your life before even producing? Were you playing instruments and at a young age?
So yeah, I started off by playing piano
mm-hmm.
ages ago, and I wasn't great at it. I sort of quit after quite a quick while. Mm-hmm. But for quite a few years I was playing drums. I got to grade 5 in drums, and that kind of I enjoyed playing drums, but I got to the point where I wasn't practicing as much, and I was trying to make music on my laptop more.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was more interested in making my own songs than playing the drums, so I kind of just stopped playing.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I had the exact same thing. I played piano for 8 years, and then I got to the point where I wasn't practicing because I was sitting on FL Studio or making videos. But yeah, it definitely seems like most producers nowadays and people who are making music, having a background in actual instruments. Would you say having a background in all these instruments helps in your music production or creativity?
Definitely, but I would say definitely drums have helped a lot. But in terms of actual piano and stuff, I didn't do loads. I rely as much on my music skills as just what I hear, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people do that though. You can either hear it or you can't, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. You have to have an ear for the good sounds, and
definitely.
The best of the best have the best ears for what is, I guess, good music. Mm. So how'd you get into dance music and dance music culture? Was there a certain track?
I think Avicii was the first thing I really listened to. Uh-huh. I think that was one of the big things. I was a massive fan of Avicii. I downloaded all his albums, mm-hmm. True Album and Stories and all that stuff. Yeah. And I absolutely fell in love with his music. And I think from there it just grew, and I just started to like EDM music because from a young age I really like pop music, and I was into all that stuff, and I listened to music a lot. It was a big part of I think now I can't go a day where I don't listen to at least an hour of music, if you don't know what I mean. It just keeps me sane. So
no, I definitely know. People are like, you can't listen to dubstep when you wake up. I'm like, watch me. Turn on dubstep. Yeah, but it seems like Avicii inspired so many people, and
definitely.
It's sad to see him go, but the industry that when you get higher up is just so different from anything that we know. But yeah, and what year was that? That was 2011 that Avicii started to pop off?
Yeah, I think so. Around that.
Avicii, and for me, it wasn't Avicii, it was Skrillex. I think they were like the
The
same
Skrillex
level.
remix, was it?
Yeah,
Of Avicii or
right.
Left?
That's the one that he got popular on, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got mine. And then so how did your musical taste evolve? Because for me, it went like dubstep to big room house, and it was all in like blocks, pretty much. Like 2 years of dubstep, 2 years of big room house, and then recently it's got into like synth wave and bass house and like
Mm.
drum and bass and future house and all over the place. How
Mm.
did your kind of like musical taste, I guess,
I
evolve?
I think I listened to more like dubstep to begin with because when like
Hmm.
Bangarang and all that stuff came out, everyone was listening to that, and it was kind of like definitely in the UK, everyone listened to dubstep then.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I used to be that guy that listened to dubstep load, and I still love dubstep. It's still a
Hmm.
great genre.
Yeah,
But from there, it sort of evolved into more the progressive, but like poppy progressive stuff. So like Avicii,
yeah.
as we said, and more that sort of thing. And then from there, I found like obviously Oliver Heldens sound, and I was like, oh, well, I need to hear more of this.
Yeah.
And so like that's where my love of like future house music and like all that sort of music, like Mike Williams, Mesto, all those inspirations,
Yeah.
that's where that started. And I think one of the first tracks I heard from them, I think it was Mesto's like Tetris song.
Yes.
That was one of the ones that really like kicked my love off. And another one was
Hmm.
Kirby's remix. Oh, I can't remember what it was of. Anyway, Rumors, Kirby's remix of Rumors.
Mm-hmm.
That was insane. So it was those sorts of sounds that I loved. And then from there, it's sort of developed now. So like, I still enjoy listening to Future Bounce more, but I feel like it's coming like very saturated as a genre. Like
Uh-huh.
there's so much generic Future Bounce now. So I kind of like the niche stuff is really cool. And yeah, from there it's kind of just developed now to the point where I really enjoy like future bass and trap, and I kind of just appreciate all music for what it is.
Hmm.
So if there's a good track and it's in a different genre that I don't normally listen to, I won't rule it out. I'll just listen to it. But yeah, it's definitely my music taste has definitely got wider as it's gone along. But
Hmm.
it's I still like dance music, and like electronic music is the main thing I like. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and dude, going back to that, like me and Jonathan on the last episode were even talking about how the oversaturation. He pretty much called like having a future bounce kind of genre is pretty ironic because it's just it's all mixed up now and it's just getting like super saturated and weird. But
Mm.
I remember, wasn't it Martin Garrix that kind of pushed Mesto onto the scene with
Yeah,
he
with Bouncy Bob and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And he reposted the Tetris. Um,
Oh, did he? I didn't know
I,
that.
he either reposted or promoted it, and then yeah, and then he collabed with him on Bouncy Bob. But yeah, definitely, I found about I pretty much got into future house music the exact same way.
Mm.
How did you? When did you start producing? Like, how many years have you been producing already for?
So I'd say like properly, like seriously, like trying to produce is like
Hmm.
probably 3 years now.
Hmm.
Um, but in terms of just messing around on my laptop in GarageBand and just opening something and just playing around with it,
Uh-huh.
it's probably 4.5 years around there. But
Hmm.
yeah, I kind of count producing started properly as me when I started using FL Studio because I bought a desktop for the reason to produce, and I was kind of like locked in to trying to produce, and that's where it properly started for me. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And how did you learn to produce on Fruity Loops? Because I don't know, a couple like right now, Fruity Loop and I guess just producing tutorials are really prominent and getting really popular on YouTube. But like a couple years ago, like it wasn't like that. Like, so how did you
Uh,
learn Fruity Loops?
I think to begin with, it was like for the first few months, it was sort of just playing around in the software more and trying to get kind of figure out what everything was.
Hmm.
Because I remember like it's sort of 8 months in, I was making tracks with which had like nothing linked to the mixer, and it was like it sounded absolutely horrible. There was no EQ or anything, and I didn't know what any of that stuff did.
Hmm.
But in terms of like learning the kind of more, I think learning the basics, a lot of that stuff came from YouTube. I
Hmm.
think a lot of it's come in the last year or so where I've just been like, right, I really want to learn how to mix better. And I did that by like one of the tutorials that helped me a lot was actually JS Girls mixing tutorials because
Hmm.
it taught me the fundamentals that I did not know. And this I think this was around a year ago, but once I knew those fundamentals and I started talking to all these other producers like John Frudice and stuff, there kind of be stuff we knew from each other,
Yeah.
which the other person didn't knew. I think it's more kind of me and John, like rude lies, they know what they're doing, completely
Hmm.
know what they're doing.
Hmm.
But they could teach me a trick or two or something and be like, this helps, do this with this sound. And it's, I think, partly spending so much time talking to producers. Like we have Skype calls very regularly, talking about music and stuff,
Hmm.
and just chilling out. That sort of thing, I think, really helps. Like just talking to people in the community who know the music and can give you feedback and tips and say, yeah, if you do this to this certain sound, it really helps. So that's definitely been a key part in like in producing the like quality of music, like trying to get it better. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, like, for a fact, and it's been proven in so many, by so many different artists, is just surrounding yourself by the right people is really
Yes.
crucial to just getting success. And I know you have kind of like a mafia going, a mafia with Jonathan and Rude Lies and a couple of other artists. So how did that kind of get together, and what do you think is the importance of, like, surrounding yourself with successful and pretty much the right people? What do you think about that?
Okay, so I'll start off by like how we all met. So it was like the main thing of how we met is me and John like a year ago on the Future of House. Like I saw some of his videos on there and I started messaging him
Hmm.
and showed him some of my tracks. And then from there we started Skyping.
Hmm.
And then from there onwards, I just asked a load of people to Skype, and there's quite a lot of people from the UK I know now and everything. And yeah, there's probably a group of about 15 of us that in some form or other, like we're in a group call every so often on Skype. Like we talk quite a lot on Skype and stuff. But yeah, there's kind of like a group of us now. But in terms of like the importance of surrounding yourself with people like that, I definitely would say it's really vital just in multiple ways, because like musically they can help you, they can feedback you, that you can push yourself more because you kind of compete with them, but in a friendly way, if you
Hmm.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
So me and Jesper have kind of like been pushing each other, and I've been doing it with other people as well. We've been like, oh, we've got this many plays on this track, or this is doing so well. So we try and like compete, see how well we can do, which is really because it's like friendly competition, which definitely is helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another way is contacts, because we all know people in the industry now who can help us in some way or another. And if you know people, if you know enough people, they can like help you out, and they can say to certain management or someone, oh, you should check this guy out, or you could do this for him. So in multiple ways, I think music and industry, like in both ways, it can help massively.
Hmm. No, I 100% agree with you. And reaching out to people just over the internet is kind of like a crazy idea nowadays.
Mm,
That's what, like, most old people say. But I've met, so many friends over the internet, and even in my recent trip to Europe, I've met up with some of my producer friends that I met through producing groups and stuff. And it's just crazy how the entire thing is interconnected.
yeah, yeah.
So for people who are just kind of like starting out and looking for creating like a group of successful and like-minded people, where would you suggest for them to go for beginner producers?
I would definitely just say Facebook. Just join some EDM groups like the Future of House, EDM Bedroom Producer. I mean, they're a little toxic now because there's so many people in them,
Hmm.
but you can still meet loads of people on there, and that for your genre, there'll definitely be a community of people. So like I can say there's loads of people I know who are sort of in the same community who I recognize, if you know what I mean. So if you
Hmm.
join one of these groups, you'll start to recognize people and you can start networking with people. I mean, Facebook for me has definitely been the place where everything's kicked off, because you can say I know this person, and you can start a group chat or something, and then you can start Skyping, or you can start a Facebook like just a group with a load of producer friends, and all that sort of thing can, yeah, be really good.
Hmm. And it's as simple as just asking people. Um,
Literally, just don't be like too forward, or don't be like, oh, hey, this is my track, do you want to collab? Because
mhm.
that never works. That always puts me in the wrong mood. But if someone's like, hey, how are you, sort of thing, and they send you a nice message or they send you a nice email, I will always respond to it, because like they've taken the time out of their day to say, hey, I like your music, could you maybe check out this, tell me what you think. I'm always down to give feedback if people do that sort of thing. So don't rub people up the wrong way. Just be nice and just be human. Like
Hmm.
everyone's only human. So yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely an etiquette to how you talk to people, even if it's over the internet and it might be kind of in an informal setting, but
Mm.
there's still a certain amount of respect that you have to give to people, and
Yeah,
you know,
don't go straight in with collab, bro. That never
yeah,
works.
and it's become a meme. It's become a meme.
It has become a meme. Yeah, yeah.
So let's start talking about your tracks. You just released a new kind of reboot track,
Yes.
with Rude Lies and Jonth, and it was just released a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. On alot.
How did that collab kind of come together?
So basically, I planned this about 2 months ago. I planned a trip to Sweden to meet up with both Chris Datch from Rude Lies and Jesper, and also
Oh,
the other half of Rude Lies, who's called Daniel. And yeah, I didn't really know what to expect for it. There were a few bits and bobs that we planned to do while we were there, but no, we just knew we were gonna like make some music while we were out there and just chill together and just like, yeah, just hang out and get to know each other better in real life. So yeah, I went to Sweden for about 5 days, and I think it was Thursday. No, it was Friday morning at like 2 in the morning. We were on the bus back from the studio, and Chris was searching for the new music on his phone, and he saw this Jack Jones song. He's like, "This is really remixable. We have to do something with this." So when we got back to Chris's apartment, me and Jesper sat on the sofa and started kind of brainstorming some melody ideas and like trying to make a lead and stuff. And Chris was like messing around with vocal synth on his computer, trying to get it to work with the Jack Jones song, the original. And then from there, it kind of just, we had the basic idea. We went into the studio the next day, which was Saturday, and we just finished it off in the studio and released it on Sunday. So yeah, under 48 hours, we made that remix, which was crazy. It was really good fun.
Someone needs to make a movie of that, because that just sounds insane. And you guys all met through producer groups over the internet, right?
Yeah. So basically, obviously, I met Jesper first, and then sort of Chris Datch from Rude Lies started working with Jesper and some other people we know, and then from there we just met each other through Skype and stuff. So yeah,
Isn't that kind of surreal, just meeting people and then
it is
over the
crazy.
internet, and then you're pretty much in a different country making music together?
It was awesome because it was like I'm not even gonna lie, they were the same people in real life. I'd known them for so long and chatted to them so much. It was like I'd known them forever. So it wasn't awkward at all either. Like it was awesome. Yeah.
How is Sweden? Is it different than the UK?
Yeah, it's pretty different, but I have to say it was absolutely beautiful. Like it's one of the best holidays I've had. Like we did loads of cool stuff. Like we went to this theme park. We went into Stockholm, and like in the day and night, we just took some photos and walked around and stuff, and spent quite a bit of time in the studio. But the one thing I will say is the coffee is really expensive there. I spent like £4.50 on coffee each day, which was absolutely crazy. But no, it was a really really good holiday. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
How's the nightlife in Sweden?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I'm not 18.
No? Oh, okay. So,
Oh no, no.
it's 18. Okay, and in England as
It's
well, it's 18, right?
yeah. I'm a few months off, but we did have a few drinks in the studio. We did a live stream on Zemla's channel, which was pretty cool as well. But yeah, most nights we were just in the studio until like really late at night. Like there was one night we left the studio at like 6 a.m. in the morning and went and got McDonald's breakfast and then just went to sleep. So yeah, we were in there pretty late most nights.
Hmm. And basically, I'm guessing like starting from a laptop or like a desktop with just GarageBand and moving all the way to going and collabing with artists in a studio, like in a different country. How does that feel? How does that, all come together through your
It
series?
Yeah, it just it feels absolutely awesome because knowing that you've achieved that yourselves to the point where you can go and meet artists you used to look up to, like Rude Lies. I listened to their music for like a year and a half, 2 years, and I looked up to them as artists. And to be able to go to their studio and actually work with them in real life is a massive like honor. It's awesome, and I'm such good friends with them now. It's just like, yeah, it's an absolutely awesome feeling.
Hmm. What other I guess like producers would you like to collab in the future? Who are you hoping to catch some
Um,
collabs with?
I don't know. I haven't got anyone in particular at the moment who I'm like, I really want to collab with them. But
Hmm.
like people like Ellis, I absolutely love his music.
Yeah, yeah,
But like I don't know because I'm kind of doing a bit of everything at the moment. I'm kind of experimenting with what I want to do myself.
yeah. Hmm.
So I've been trying some like future bass and more trappy stuff as well as future house at the moment, just to see how that's going for me. And I enjoy doing like a lot of different things now because I've got set sounds I use, but in different genres. So it's kind of like another person I look up to is like Jaden Lewis, sort of like trappy future bass stuff. I love that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and like if we're talking mainstream artists, like people like Medicine, he's awesome.
Yeah.
More, yeah. and like just everyone looked up to Martin Garrix at one point. So to work
Of
with him,
course, yeah.
would be awesome. But no, I have got a few cool collabs coming up. Like working with people like Foxer before was really cool because he's someone I used to look up to. Like seeing him on Future House Music and stuff, and then being able to work on him with him on a track was awesome. But yeah, I've got some cool stuff coming up. So yeah.
Just listing off some of your releases, you've been released on Tritone Records, Future House Cloud, Lacuna Records, now Olasai. How did those labels approach you, or did you approach them? How did that relationship kind of form?
It kind of varied. So with like the Tritone release, I knew that's Realize Manager's label, and he approached me and asked me to do a remix for that song, and I was completely down to do it because he's such a cool guy, and he was just like, yeah, I've got this song, I love the vocals and stuff, so I just threw together a remix for that. But like for other ones, it's kind of been more persistent. So like Future House Cloud, I had to kind of be persistent and just talk to the owner, but I know the owner quite well now. And for like other ones, it's kind of just a bit random. Like Lacuna, Foxer knew the owner quite well, so he was like, yeah, we should release it here. So that happened. But it varies for each label. It's kind of just who you know, and basically who you know, or if like you're collabing with someone who they know, that sort of thing.
And I mean, you're getting substantial plays on all of your tracks, and you're getting quite a bit of exposure. So how would you recommend for someone who's trying to get and go about, getting more exposure? Is it signing to a bigger label? Is it collabing with other artists, or is it like a combination of the two?
I think you need to be strategic with the way you do stuff. You need to think as yourself as a brand that you're trying to build. So you have to keep your quality of music up. Like you can't just think, oh, I've spent 5 hours on this, it's a remix, it's not mixed or mastered very well, but it doesn't matter, people like it. I think keeping consistent quality so people know what to expect when you release something is very important. So like making sure your tracks all sound of a professional standard. But as well as that, I would say always like mixing it up a bit, keeping something new, but also focus on try and look at what labels are relevant and what labels are doing well, and think strategically, okay, I want to make a track for this label. How will I get it signed? What do I need to do on the track to get it signed there? What do they like? So for example, my release on Future House Cloud, which was More Than Yesterday, we had the track, but we were like, this is like, it's a good track, but it needs something else. And that was getting vocals to make it more poppy and more mainstream. And that made it like, we wouldn't have signed it anywhere without the vocals. So stuff like that, like you just have to think strategically, and definitely think about investing in yourself. Like invest in promotion if you have to kickstart yourself. So like to begin with, I did invest with promotion and stuff, but something I've done now is I kind of like invested in a like a repost chain, which I do with Rudize, to like help promote myself, like in my music on SoundCloud. But another place I'm trying to focus more on now is Spotify, and think about what labels like get those Spotify plays. So like just making sure you release on places which are doing well. So just definitely send demos to multiple labels, and you don't have to accept the first place that accepts your demo. So just keep trying places, and you can always have a certain place as a backup or something. So say they accept it and you want to go bigger, try sending them a demo. If it doesn't work, you've always got backup, that sort of thing. So yeah.
What are some labels that people should look out for on the scene?
So I would definitely say, I think Future House Cloud is doing very well at the moment. Like the owner is really good, but I would say Strange Fruits. Watch out for Strange Fruits. They're doing some big stuff because they've got sub-labeled like Neon Fruits, Break It Down and stuff. And yeah, they're doing some big stuff at the moment. So watch out for Strange Fruits, I'd say.
Strange Fruits, awesome. And on the last episode, we were actually talking about Future House Clouds. I'm sure you know the label, right? Yeah, and we're talking about how most labels nowadays, or some labels that are getting big, some of them can be making, I guess, like not the right moves in the same way. And we were talking about how Future House Cloud is basically like not releasing kind of more or less true future house music, and is really, really trying to go, I guess, aggressively push mainstream, and not really kind of experiment, where on some labels that actually works out quite well, where they experiment with different tracks and put on new and exciting artists, and don't try to stick to one sound. what do you think about all this and the deal with labels?
Um, Personally, I like the way Future House Cloud is going, but I think Jesper was probably talking about Future House Music and how they're trying to copy some bigger stuff. So like Future House Cloud is still releasing Future House Music, but they're still like there's a variation and stuff. But Future House Music, that's one I think where they're like I'm not too sure in the direction they're going because they have their sub label LYD and they have their main label Future House Music, and the sub label seems to really releasing deep house and hexagon style stuff,
Yeah.
and then the main label is hexagon style stuff, and then some bigger artists with future bounce. And personally, I feel like they're kind of, I don't know, they're not giving their audience what they want. Like they like Selected's already there for like deep house and stuff, and they're just trying to copy that. And then obviously Hexagon's there for the hexagon style stuff. And I thought future house music as a whole had its niche before when it was releasing all the future bounce and the future house music and all that stuff was awesome. But they've kind of gone away from that recently, and they're not giving the audience who originally subscribed to them or followed them what they want in the same sense. Like personally, Hexagon music, I like some of it, but it's not the sort of stuff that I really like to listen to. I think Future House music personally, I've been turned off from it recently. I haven't been interested in stuff, but they brought up artists like Ellis and all them, like Mike Williams and Mesto, and that's the stuff people want from it. Like even if it's the more innovative stuff, that's the stuff they're not really releasing. So I think Future House Music as a whole, it's still a good label. It's just I'm not sure about the direction those sort of labels are going. Personally, yeah.
I think I used Future House Cloud, but I meant to say Future House Music. That was
yeah. I got what you mean. Don't worry.
Yeah, Future House Cloud is no, it's rising. It's definitely been one of my favorite ones, and I've followed it straight from the beginning. I think I did a guest mix for them, I think around like 2 years ago, just when I was starting out.
Yeah.
And they've grown so much in the recent years. Definitely signing on like bigger artists and stuff like that. So in I guess like more or less in the mainstream scene, who would be some of your favorite producers, future house producers that you look up to?
Oh, okay. So I guess people obviously like Mesto, Mike Williams, Retrovision definitely, because I'm so impressed with the way he's risen. Like he's such an amazing inspiration. Like the fact that he's gone from being at the level we all are to getting signed on Hexagon and stuff, and like we've been able to see it better than people like Mesto and stuff, because Mesto kind of just made a massive jump from not really being signed to getting instantly signed spinning and stuff like that. Retrovision, you can see he's been on like NCS, and like his collab with Damastic, like Sick, that was absolutely awesome. Like Damastic is awesome as well, but just to see people like that getting bigger is amazing, because you always like look up to them from the beginning, and I respect him just as much from when he was like a lot smaller, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely artists like that. But there's other people like Osrin. He's killing it at the moment. Like he's still quite small, sort of, but he's like got a collab with Martin Garrix, and he remixed Martin Garrix's song officially. So like in terms of that, I can see him becoming really like massive like soon, and artists like that. Like but yeah, in terms of bigger artists stuff like that, maybe Arpsych, Joey Rumble, all those sort of people.
They're kind of like they're kind of characters in the future house underground world, and everything's brewing, it seems, and soon a lot of them I think are gonna reach success, and we've already seen that. Yeah, people from the future house and just EDM bedroom producer communities are gaining success, and it gives a lot of people hope, because these are people who you're talking to on a daily basis, who are giving you feedback, who are talking interacting with you, and everyone has their time, and I believe that everyone can get to that place where they're just getting massive success.
Yeah, definitely agree.
So what are you currently working on? Like what kind of releases, and if you're allowed to say some secret information?
Okay, so I can say I signed a track with Break It Down, which was a collab with some other people. But I have some other stuff coming at the moment where I'm working with some pretty cool vocalists and some like there's quite at the moment I'm kind of taking off some collabs which I've wanted to do for ages, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But as well, I've been trying to work on a few more original tracks. So there's been like quite a bit of time where I've done quite a few collabs and just focused on remixes because I've had a lot of pressure from exams and stuff, and I wanted to still get stuff out. But no, I've had some time recently to work on some solo tracks. So that's the sort of thing that's coming soon. But I haven't confirmed anything with labels or anything yet on them, so I won't say anything for now.
Okay. And going along with the theme of like electronic dance music, do you DJ?
I kind of have just started recently trying to learn. Um, not, I haven't played any like shows or anything yet, but when I go to university next year, I'm hoping to start like playing gigs and stuff, and hopefully doing some bigger shows and stuff, and getting booked at some places. So yeah, at the moment, I'm kind of just focusing more on me as a producer and trying to build that side, so I've got that to use as a DJ in the future. But yeah, I am starting to learn how to DJ now. Yeah.
What style would you be like? What genre would you be DJing, I guess?
Oh, definitely house.
House music, yeah. No, sick. So, you're a rising talented artist in the UK. You're making, big breakthroughs with a lot of artists, and you're getting released, on bigger labels each and every time. What does the next 5 years look like for you?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I've set myself a goal this year to get to 3K followers on SoundCloud, which I could probably do, but definitely over the next 5 years, I don't know, because I'm not doing music at university. I'm doing it as a side thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to have something as a backup, but I'm still doing at university. I'm doing media productions. So I'm still doing something creative because I've always been more. I've still been academic, but I've been more creative than academic. But I reckon over the next 5 years, I just want to try and grow my name. I don't know. I quite like to release on a bigger label within the next 3 years in terms of like Armada, Spinning, something like that. I don't know yet. I've never really thought about like 5 years on, because when I was in Sweden, we were like, think of where we were a year ago. Like we were absolutely terrible at making music, and we just met, and we barely had like 100 followers on SoundCloud, sort of thing. And now when we look at where we are now, it's kind of like a massive jump.
Thousands followers.
So to think of like 5 years is like, it's crazy. I'm just looking into the like a year ahead at the moment. That's all I'm thinking about. But yeah.
What's the importance of setting goals, really, and like just anything that you do? Like as you said, you were trying to hit 3K followers by the end of this year. Have you been like consistently setting goals for yourself and in this whole thing?
Yeah, definitely. I think in terms of both the way you like market your music and the way you get plays on it, and trying to set yourself a goal to get on a certain label or something, just as much as setting yourself a goal to improve your music, they're both important. So like with music, last year I set myself a goal to try and like mix a track so it sounded professional, and also like I wanted to learn how to master properly. And setting yourself goals like that, like constantly trying to improve, definitely is a very vital thing, because I think if you don't know what you're aiming for, it's hard to get there, because you can't like improve if you don't know what you're trying to improve. So I think you need to think about, okay, I'm weak on this. When I got feedback, someone told me I was weak on this. If you've heard it a lot, like try and improve your mix down. Set a goal to learn more about mixing stuff down, or learn more about maybe music theory to make like your tracks more advanced in terms of the composition, or something like that. So definitely just keep setting yourself goals. Yeah.
And you just got recently supported by Clarx, right, on your new track?
Yes, he played it out at a show. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that looked crazy. Like the whole video and the crowd and everything, and just how does it feel seeing your track? How does it feel to hear your track being played at like a huge festival in front of so many people and getting supported by a pretty big artist?
It's such an awesome feeling. Like you feel absolutely like when you're like buzzing when you see these videos, like when they get sent back to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, you just can't believe it. And like the amount of support we've been like getting lately between people I've been working with and just on my own tracks has been crazy. Like when I've been sending promos out, like people saying, "Oh, I really like this," and that's an artist you used to look up to. Like Clarx is someone I look up to as an artist. Like it's absolutely amazing. It's the best feeling ever. It makes everything you do 100% worth it, and you just want to carry on doing what you're doing and just grow even more. Yeah.
And Clark sent you that video directly after a show?
Yeah, we also got someone who was at the gig. Someone who was at the gig sent a video of it to Jesper as well. Like, dude, this is awesome. Here's the video of it, which is pretty cool.
Wow, that's crazy. And how did this whole, like, were you connected to Clark's before? Like, or...
Chris Stapps, so Root Lies, knew him pretty well, so they sent it to him on Facebook, but I talked to him on Facebook before as well, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. And I mean, a lot of people kind of just don't make these bigger producers human. It's like there's something out of this world, but in reality, like, you can probably send out a message and you'll get in contact with these people. Like it's as simple as sending a message to most of them.
Exactly. Yeah, the majority of the time, if you just treat them like a person who's just like, "Hey, what's up, man? I love your music. Massive fan or something." They'll treat you like a like a person as well. They won't just say, "Oh, go away," or they won't respond. A lot of the time, they will reply, even if they're blunt. Like they're probably busy, so just give them a chance and just message them like you would your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're nearing to the end of the show, and I have a couple last questions for producers who are just starting out, and they're looking to get some tips on, to help them with their production and, getting releases and stuff. What tips could you offer to them?
I would say for new producers, like, just try and like think about like how you would structure your tracks. Like try and look into the basics like really carefully before you release anything. So like you might have a really good idea which isn't mixed down well or something. So think about that. Maybe watching YouTube tutorials. Like that's been the main thing that's helped me, like YouTube tutorials. But like my one tip would be make sure everything's below 0 dB on your master, because a lot of people make that mistake where it's like clipping like really hard. So yeah, stuff like that, just basic stuff. Make sure you've got that nailed. But another thing I would say is, even if you're like your music you don't think is very good, just like try and release something and see how it goes. You'll learn from releasing. Like I released music when it was terrible, and I started a new SoundCloud account eventually and deleted the old one. But I think if you sit on music for like a year and you don't release, you don't get an idea of where you're at. So definitely release something, see how it goes, and just constantly try and improve.
No, it's really good advice. So for people who are looking to find you, where can they find you on social media and all those things?
So if you type in Tom Wilson on SoundCloud, it should just come up. But my username's Tom12k if you need to find it. But yeah, on Facebook and Instagram and everything, if you just search Tom Wilson Music, it should come up. And yeah, if you wanna listen to any of my tracks, they're all available on YouTube if you just type in the name of the track and my name. So yeah, all that good stuff.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing your future releases and the big strides that you're making in, the future house and dance music community in general.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It was awesome coming on.
Dude, no worries. Thanks for coming on, man. So guys, thank you so much. We're wrapping up the 4th episode with Tom Wilson. If you guys want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. And I will see you guys next week. Peace.